In this video, we're going to talk about life cycle assessments and specifically exam style questions. We'll start off with an MCQ. Now, multiple choice questions. Now, cups are made from ceramics, paper or polythene. They give you an example of a part of the life cycle assessment, as in plastic cups are recyclable. And then they want to say which stage of a life cycle assessment, LCA, would contain the information. And they give you 4 different options. Let's put this to the side. Okay, and have a look at these different. So what stage, as in beginning, middle and end? Where do you think it's going to be? Okay, so if you think about beginning, middle and end, we can say, right, okay, what do we do with the plastic cups? Is it at the end or is it at the beginning? Well, it's at the end, isn't it? You use it, you produce it, you use the raw materials, and we'll talk about these 4 levels. You do the raw materials, you transport it, you use it, okay, and then you've got to do the disposal. And it's in the disposal part, okay? So if you think about it in terms of order, okay, it's going to be extracting the raw materials first, okay, and then you're going to do the manufacturing and the packaging, then you're going to use it, and then you're going to dispose of it. And when you dispose of it, that's when you're going to recycle it. So the correct answer is A. We're now going to do the first of 2 questions on analysing data for life cycle assessments of cups. Now, cups and bags are the ones you need to do in the exam. They're in the specification, okay, and what you need to do is look at the data in the table and then answer an evaluation question that has a preamble like this. So it gives you the table, tells you what the stuff is made of, and then asks you to do a life cycle assessment to evaluate the use of these materials in making cups. Now, there's 4 different categories for life cycle assessment. It starts off with the raw materials, then it does the manufacturing, the packaging, and then it does the use, and then it does the disposal. And we'll go through each one of those when we go through the question. So let's get rid of this preamble and talk you through what you need to do to evaluate, and that's important. So the table is there, and then let's get to this point. So here is the line that the examiners will use to mark your question. Notice it says a judgment, and the highest mark on this is a level 2, so a judgment. Most people don't do the judgment. So I'm going to explain the judgment using the first category, which is the raw materials you need for your cups in this case, which you see up there. Okay, well, they're made of wood. Well, if you take the wood and then you put wood is renewable, it's not as good as saying, well, the wood's made from trees. So I've made some form of analysis and I've put some of my own thought into it to say the wood is made from trees, so the trees are renewable. Okay, you've looked at crude oil is crude oil, so, and clay is clay. So they're finite. So the word you need to use here for the raw materials is it renewable? Is it non-renewable? Is it finite? As in, is it going to run out? So non-renewable means going to run out, finite means it's going to run out. And we'd use both terms here. But when you're analysing these, think about it in terms of what it's made from first. Okay, and you can see we've taken the data from the table, but we haven't just written down what's on the table. We've changed it in some way to say that we've been analysed. So we're going to go to the next one now. And if you go to the next one, you can see the number packaged in a 5 decimeter cardboard box. And you can see there's different numbers there. So again, we don't just quote the numbers. We say which one is more than the other one. Okay, so for example, if we're going to do this now, we're going to do manufacturing and packaging. The paper cups use the least packaging. So we don't just say, oh, it uses 300, or it uses 1800, or it uses 2000, okay? We say what kind of packaging it needs. So this says number packaged in a 5 decimeter cardboard box. That means I can get more in a 5 decimeter cardboard box, which means I need fewer 5 decimeter cardboard boxes, which is what I'm saying here. Use the least packaging so it conserves the raw materials for the boxes. They also need less transportation. They need less transportation because basically you need less boxes. So it makes sense. And you can also link that into fossil fuels for transportation, so you use less fossil fuels. But let's move that over to the side and look at the next one. So we've done our raw materials, we've done our manufacturing and packaging, okay? Next thing is our using. So what do we use this thing for? So use and operation. So the paper and the polythene cups are single use, so replaced most often, right? But the ceramic one, or like a normal cup that you have a cup of tea out of, okay, they last longer. So they're replaced less often. So, and you can tell that from the average number of times used. Okay, let's move that around and go for our last one, which is our disposal. So we look here, ceramic cups take up landfill, which is running out, so they'll go into landfill, okay? Paper and polythene cups can be used to make new products because you can recycle them. And again, you get that information from here. You're not just saying it's recyclable, it's biodegradable. You're linking that into landfill, you're linking that into whether it can be made into new products by recycling, okay? And you only need 2 or 3 of these. You don't need all of this on here, okay? Just 2 or 3 of them. And of course, recycling conserves raw materials. Now let's move that all around, okay, and put it in order. So we've got raw materials, do it first. So the next question, I want you to think of this in the same way. Raw materials, think in your head, what are the points I can say about raw materials? 2, what can I say about the manufacturing and packaging? What can I say about the use and operation? And what can I say about the disposal? Let's put this all up to the side and have that sitting there so you can see it, and then finish off our question. So you've got to finish it off with a judgment. There are a multitude of judgments. They don't have to be that complicated, so please don't worry too much about whether it is a really complicated judgment. It just needs to be linked and supported your judgment. So I'm going to give you some examples. I would choose to use paper cups as trees are renewable resources and oil is a non-renewable resource for plastics, making paper a sustainable choice. You can just keep on using it. So that, you're just taking one example out of here and then turning it into an evaluation. That's it. You don't have to use lots, just one will do. I would choose paper cups as they use the least packaging. So we've gone to manufacturing and packaging this time, and paper cups require less transportation. So I've just repeated what I've said there, and that's the reason I would choose paper cups. I would choose ceramic cups, okay, because they last longer. So again, the answer doesn't need to be the logical answer. So it doesn't need to be the obvious one. As long as it's backed up by some form of evidence that you've put in your answer, it is an evaluation. And that is how you do evaluation questions when it comes to life cycle assessments. Now we're going to look at a question about 2 pieces of information about energy usage. And we've got the same data for our cups. So look at the raw material. Well, the raw material is wood. Well, wood comes out of the ground as trees. Okay, then we have to cut them down, and then we have to turn them into paper. So we need to extract the raw material from the ground, cut down the wood, okay, and then we have to process it and turn it into paper. We've got a similar thing here. You've got to mine the crude oil, you've got to mine the clay, okay? But we can round that all up in just extraction of the raw materials and processing. We can also then say, well, how do we've got to transport this. So energy is going to be involved in transporting all of this, and energy is going to be used in disposing it, for example, like recycling. So we can quickly come up with quite a few of these, and there's a lot of these, but you only need 2. So first of all, extraction and processing of the raw materials. And then we go to making the cut materials. Well, the manufacturing will take energy, okay, the transportation, cleaning, for example, if you've got non-disposable plates, and the disposal and the recycling. So any 2 of those is absolutely fine. But what you need to do is go down each part of the table and just say what energy is used in each part. And that's how you do this type of question. Go back to the table and just think about where the energy is used. We're now going to move on to our final question, which is about paper and plastic bags, specifically bags for life. We're not talking about single-use ones. Now, when it comes to this, you've already done the question before, hopefully, so I'd like you to stop the video and try and do this yourself, okay? You're going to evaluate it in exactly the same way as you've done the last one, different amount of data, okay? And then we'll go through how to actually do it if you're not sure. But stop the video, do it now. Right, okay, so let's get this question out of the way and go straight into it. So raw materials, we looked at our raw materials, and we now got an energy to produce 1 bag in kilojoules. So basically, this is linked to the raw materials. So I've highlighted both. You see we've just got wood for paper bags and crude oil. So what would we say about wood? We'd say it's renewable, and we'd say the trees are, and crude oil is finite or non-renewable, you can say. Okay, we can also say takes more energy to produce paper bags, because it does, because you just look over here and you can see that we have got 90 kilojoules there, okay, and it takes more energy, that's it. Let's move that over to the side, and go to the transportation. Transportation this time is based on the mass of one bag in grams. So the mass of the plastic bag you can see is 100 and the paper bag is 150. So basically paper bags weigh more than plastic. Okay, so I haven't said 150 versus 100, I've just said, look, they weigh more. Okay, that means more transportation costs in terms of energy, okay, in terms of fossil fuels, and in terms of actual cost. Now, then move to use and operation, just like we did in the last one. Okay, the use and operation is going to be, it takes less uses to be more environmentally friendly. So this is this one down here. You can see less uses. All right, so it's the paper one is environmentally friendly after 5, whereas the plastic bag is after 7. We can also say energy released when one bag is burned. A way of reducing waste is to burn it and then use that for energy, which is done, for example, in a place I visited recently called Tromsø, and they use all their waste to produce that energy. So you get more from a paper bag than you would from plastic. Right. Now, if that's the case, we've done 3, let's do disposal. So disposal is based on whether it's biodegradable or it's recyclable. And again, very similar to the last ones. Related to landfill, okay, but the recycled ones can make new products. And it also conserves those raw materials. So if that's the case, remember you can stop the video whenever you want, so you can look at all of these. I'll move that over to the side. And I do my possible evaluations. This is the judgment that gets you the full marks. Okay, so possible evaluations. I choose the paper, as plastic bags contribute to long-lasting pollution, and they can take space in landfill. So they can take space in landfill, so I choose paper. I choose paper because plastic bags use finite crude oil, whereas paper bags come from renewable trees. Remember, you can have any one of these. You only need one evaluation. I'm giving you possible ones. I would choose plastic bags. They're lightweight and energy efficient during transport. Paper bags are heavier. Okay, so any one of these 3, or even other ones, you can choose any one of these reasons and create an evaluation out of it. And that's how you do the life cycle assessment questions, where you have to make a possible evaluation.